Alright, hi guys. At long last, I finally got another sketchbook for you guys since my last one. First of all, the type of sketchbook, I got a lot of questions about what type of sketchbook my last one was from the last video. This one's a Magma Sketchbook, and I got this in Sydney, but I'm pretty sure it's English made? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, there are a couple of pages that I did after the end of the last video, so I think the last one finished somewhere around here. This page, this one's done by my friend Emily and this one's done by my friend Bree, so this one's not my drawings, but here we go, these ones. This is some sort of gestural ballet drawings. More ballet drawings. I think this is at the end of your ballet concert. These really aren't too interesting. That one's pretty cool though, I like that one. Actually this page is pretty good. But yeah, it has some grey pages at the end that I may end up using, but at the moment I just don't really have anything that, I mean I guess I could just get a white pencil or something to work on with that. I've got this little sketchbook that I did a few pages in before I got to my main one that we'll do today, but this one, it's got a few little pen drawings in the same style as the last one, some notes. Got into using the brush pen. If you follow me on Instagram, you might recognize some of these from a while ago. I've definitely photographed a lot in the other one for Instagram, so some of it might look familiar. Yeah, and there's a few pages left there, so I may or may not go back to that one. But this is the main one that I'm quite proud of that we'll look at today. So these stickers are done by my friend Emily from her Redbubble page. She was doing some sort of drunk request art thing on Tumblr, so I asked her to draw the Marauders. So she drew these while she was drunk and I thought they were really cute and hilarious, so I bought them as stickers to put on the cover of this sketchbook, which coincidentally, Emily is also the one who bought me this sketchbook, which for anyone who is interested is a Canson, and it's really freaking good. I love the sketchbook. The paper is really great, but the best thing about it is that it has like a fabric spine. It doesn't have a leather spine, which means that you can open it flat, which is ideal for when you want to draw on both pages and make the most out of your sketchbook. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it. I got this sketchbook for Christmas from Emily, so there's a little Christmas message that I would just cover up for privacy reasons, but that means that I've been working on this sketchbook for about half a year, I think. So hopefully I'll be able to finish another one before the end of this year. But yeah, here we go. This is practicing angles of skulls that I think I've discussed in another video. And I've got a few drawings by other people. I always like getting other people to draw in my sketchbook because I think it's just a fun thing to remember when you look back on it. So this one's done by my friend Jenny. So yeah, that says 18th of January, so right at the start of the year. At the start, some of the drawings get pretty smudgy because I didn't have any fixative spray, which is this stuff. I pretty much used it on every page after I got it, just to make sure that the drawings are preserved properly. It's so worthwhile. It does smell awful. Like the other day I was spraying a lot of fixative on my life drawings and I got a headache because I forgot to open a window. Be safe, kids. Open a window when you're using fixative spray. It's not good for you. Don't inhale too much of it. Alright, yeah, here are sketches of, if anyone follows me on Tumblr, they'll see that I did a witch Sona thing. So these are the sketches that I did before I did the digital version. So did some sketches, like detail sketches, and then I did sketches of my house that is like in a swamp area thing. I always sort of imagined that I was like quite a nature witch, like collecting and foraging and making potions and curses and that kind of thing. So that's sort of the idea behind all that. And moving on, I should mention at this point there is a lot of nudity in this sketchbook, so if you would like scream shit about that, I don't know, look away, don't watch it, I don't know what else to say. So yeah, here I was playing with some angles and practicing perspective, looking down and looking up. This is sort of an experiment with, since I noticed that I do, the majority of the time I do draw people, I thought I'd experiment with some architecture, which I do more later on as well. Yeah, working with backdrops and things. It's quite worthwhile just to get in the habit of thinking about a full image rather than just a character or whatever. So this one was fun. I think this is mostly Copic markers or maybe a couple Prismacolors, I don't know, with white gel pen over the top. Here I did some hand studies, which are always fun, with a highlighter around it. I'm sure everyone by now who follows my sketchbooks and stuff knows that I'm kind of obsessed with highlighter and pencil and the way that highlighter can really bring out a sketch, I guess. Working with pen. I find that biros are still one of the most comfortable things for me to draw in, just because that's what I did all of my sketches in during school, during my notes. This is a street corner in Dunedin, which is where I live. So again, just sort of trying to expand my horizons with what I actually draw. This is an observational drawing of some people near the Leith, which is a river that runs through my city. And this girl with weird hair, I don't know. And more pen. I actually really like this one. Sort of seems like there could be a story behind that one. There are some notes from art school in here as well, so excuse those. I wasn't really happy with the way the colours came out in this one. I really wanted them to be way more, I don't know, they got kind of muddy in some places, so that was disappointing, but I think that the way she's leaning forward is quite nice. These ones I just went straight in with a brush pen, no sketch or anything, and just tried to do some sort of gestural poses from the top of my head, and I really like the way they came out. Like, obviously this isn't a realistic anatomy, but it's dynamic in a way, so that's nice. More notes. This one is kind of, again, playing with that looseness that you can get with the brush pen. And this is a sketch of my friend Kathy, who, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot of her. There's actually a few drawings of her in this sketchbook. She's just my muse, apparently. But yeah, I think it looks quite a lot like her, so I was really proud of it. This is a drawing by Kathy that I love, and is probably the best thing in the whole sketchbook, I have to be honest. So, you know, check out her Tumblr as well. I put a link right there. Here I did a couple self-portraits, so this is me drawing in the art gallery and I saw like a reflection in the window, so did like the full pose, and then I did my face again and then my hands, which I thought was actually quite nice, or rather it does kind of look like me, so that's good. This is quite a nice page, I'm quite proud of this one. I think this one got like, oh no, there was another page. I was going to say, one of these pages got like over 1,000 likes on Instagram, which is insane to me, but it wasn't this one, it was one later on. But yeah, quite like this one too. Sort of practicing with fashion and stuff, because, you know, I do draw a lot of nude people, which is kind of a cop-out in some ways. Emily asked me to draw a muscular bee or something, like a man bee, I don't know. So that's what came out of it, and she's saying, unbelievable. 10 out of 10 pun game. Okay, yeah, here are heaps of my photography notes. If you're interested in what we're actually talking about at art school, you can pause it and read it, but yeah. And I think after this page I got into kind of an art block, and I don't like using that word because it's kind of, you know, art blocks don't really exist, it's just sort of losing your way for a second, and it's nothing to do with like the muse, the inspiration or anything. It's actually just, it's up to you to get yourself out of it instead of waiting for the inspiration to come. I don't know, that was a bit of a mini rant. I'm sure I can articulate that a lot better, but yeah. This just, it just isn't really, like, you can tell I was drawing a lot less and it wasn't my style, or, you know. So yeah, I do like this little guy though. He's just got like such a nice shape to him. So that was cool. And this is where I got back into it. So it seems like it wasn't that long of an art block, but there's more space, like there's more time in between these pages where I wasn't drawing at all. So yeah, but here I get back into it, and I just had lots of fun playing with, you know, giving her stubble on her legs and stretch marks and things, just to make a more realistic body type and stuff. This is another drawing by Emily. But I quite like this page as well. Just sort of doing a mess of things and then somehow making it flow as a page on the whole is quite nice. The sort of goddess character, I don't really know, but her hand's quite good. This is the page I think that got all of the likes, so yeah. At the risk of disclosing too much about my personal life, I was going through a bit of a tough mental time, so, you know, you kind of tell with like how expressive the faces are at this point, and I just really enjoy drawing mouths and the way that teeth are, you know, there's like a three-dimensionality to having the lips over the teeth and then having the cheeks react to the expression and all that kind of thing. Yeah, just sort of playing a lot with line and stuff, so that's fun. Here I was trying to develop a character that was sort of like a skater boy. So yeah, and then here I actually messed up his face, so what I did is I just put a post-it note, like a bit of a post-it note over it, and then drew it again, which kind of, like, it looked cooler than it would have, and it links into the whole highlighter thing as well, so it looks intentional, which is good. Here I was doing like a bunch of studies of fish, because for my internship I'm an animation intern and I was doing an animation to fish, so I thought I'd draw a few different fish to like warm up to it and stuff, and then I did this like creepy skeleton, because fish skeletons are the creepiest of all creeps. So yeah, see, this fish agrees and he says I've seen too much. Again, this is like super kind of crazy and expressive, but kind of works. Don't know where this arm is going, it's like completely gone, so that's great. Here's Kathy again, and this was like a very happy day for me apparently, because I drew a really happy character. I can't remember why I was so happy, but you know, the expressiveness is there. Yep, cool. These are some observational drawings from the Otago Settlers Museum, which is a museum in Dunedin with, that has like a portrait room which is full of paintings and photographs of the early settlers, so that was pretty much a goldmine for practicing faces and expressions and getting likenesses and stuff. So that was fun. Here's some notes about Dunedin music, because I was doing a project on Dunedin music. This is a infamous page. This is me talking to my dog saying I hate men, because she's great for telling these things too. Yeah, and then I made a comic out of that, which I might edit in right now. That got a lot of responses like, you're so sexist and I can't believe you would say that you hate all men, so that gave me a good laugh. But yeah, moving on, a lot more creepy faces, like, I don't know, the mouths are sort of interesting to me. And then I tried to get back to drawing regular things, so I looked up some JC Leyendecker illustrations, because he's like my fave, so I thought he'd be able to inspire me and get me back on track, so I did a sort of study of one of his paintings here, and this one's just sort of like inspired by the style and the era, especially like with the hair, the Gibson girl thing, but then unfortunately I did go back to like horrible, horrific faces. So yep, Kathy again, and here's like another self-portrait. And I tried to use a yellow Copic marker over the top of this brush pen, but unfortunately it did sort of bleed into it a bit and made it a bit muddy, so that's a shame. But the colour is still really nice. I really love that sort of mustard yellow. Yeah, People always ask me why I cut off her limbs, but I actually just couldn't be bothered drawing the rest of the limbs, so that's pure laziness rather than an artistic excuse. Here I tried to get into watercolors because I had some watercolors left over and I don't use them very often, so just sort of experimented with that. This one, I think I got too impatient and that's why it's sort of quite messy and stuff, but this one worked a lot better because I took the time and used a hairdryer to let it dry after every layer and things like that, and got some good depth in some of those trees. And the quotes, "The poetry of earth is never dead," which is just you know, ruining the illusion of me being such an artistic person. I actually just got that off like a BuzzFeed thing, but the quote is quite nice and I think it just fits quite nice with the composition of it. And I used some acrylic white paint to do all of the little flowers afterwards to get back some of the light in it. And then here I did a watercolor portrait of this girl that I was actually quite happy with, but unfortunately I forgot that it was on that page, and then I used Copic markers on the other side and it bled through and sort of messed with the colours of it. So I think I have a photo of it from before, so I'll put that in now so you can see what it used to look like before I ruined it with this, although I actually do really like this drawing, so I feel like it's a worthwhile sacrifice from the previous page. But yeah, it's just some soccer girl, and then on this side got these two curly haired beauties. I sort of try to draw fashion that I personally would want to wear as well, so then I went into some 90s stuff. I just looked up 90s fashion on Pinterest and did some studies, so that's always fun. And I think, yeah, this one's in the same vein, and it's the way that this one bled through is actually kind of nice. Like, I just thought, oh, you know, fuck it, I'll draw over it anyway, but it actually kind of works. I think it looks kind of cool. Another weird skater guy that I did in brush pens, and some old men. And here I sort of noticed that I tend to draw Sirius Black a little bit differently every time, so I wanted to try and get his look right. So yeah, I drew him a few times, and I like this one a lot, and this one, I think. But yeah, I don't know, it's really hard to get characters to look consistent, and I did get an ask about that on Tumblr a while ago, how do you get characters to look consistent, and I haven't answered it because I'm still trying to figure it out myself, so I'm really sorry to the person who asked that and never got an answer, but that's why. And then on this side I'm really happy with this, especially the hands, and the way that I got the hands to look, you know, so good for, you know, trying to sound modest here. I don't know, I like the way they came out, and that's actually because I used a reference and looked at, like, I took a photo of my own hands in that pose. And then again the same thing happened where I drew on the other side and it bled through, so there is a version of this drawing on Tumblr that was from before it bled through. Thank God I scanned it in, else I would be quite upset. But yeah, it sort of did the same with this drawing, and the shitty thing is that it's not even a good drawing, so kind of sucks. So I did this post-it note over the top and did this random stretchy neck guy, and then covered up the drawings on this side too with just a reclining woman, as you do. I draw so many reclining women. And then so I take the bus a lot and I have a lot of leftover bus tickets and stuff, so I decided to glue them in and then draw over the top. And then that fixative spray that I was talking about before, I sprayed it on this page, and then where it sprayed onto the bus ticket it gave this weird like distressed grey splatter, so pretty cool. Quite like how that happened. Didn't plan that, but you know, that's the way art happens. Here are some thumbnails for an illustration that I'm still working on of the Marauders in the library. Just trying to figure out a nice composition. And then on the side I went on one of my friends' Facebook pages and sort of drew one of the photos that they had there, just to, again, try and get an environment and clothing and just the whole scene together as opposed to just a character. Here I did foot studies, much in the same vein of the hand studies, just sort of trying to familiarize myself with the anatomy, so that was fun. And then these two are from there's that website that has life drawing poses, and I'll put the link in the description for that. But yeah, just using some reference. It was quite fun actually, and then I think that one's from reference as well, just sort of a very solemn looking Caucasian lady. And then here I looked up reference on Pinterest for environments, so I did this forest scene and then a cave, and then I did this house as well, which had a bunch of graffiti on it on the photo, but I just decided to stick with focusing on the architecture. And then on this side is, for music lovers, is the Last Shadow Puppets, which is one of my favourite bands at the moment. It's Alex Turner and Miles Kane, and they just have the best relationship ever. Like, all of their interviews are just so adorable, and they're great. They have a great stage presence, and their music is amazing, so yeah, check it out. Recommend. Yep. Cool. Alright, these are from reference as well. You can kind of tell the difference between stuff where I didn't use a reference and stuff where I did. Just, I think I put a lot more effort into, or a lot more emphasis on the shading and stuff. So yeah, those from reference. That one's not. This one's just some weird abstracty thing, and I did some leaves. These are all... I sort of realised that I was quite close to finishing the sketchbook, so I went into overdrive and just drew a lot. Don't really have much to say about these ones, just more character sketches pretty much. Here I did like a sort of stress relief page just full of weird stickmen that pose and fill up the whole page, so that was fun. More highlighter. I Just Want to Be On Your Side is like a lyric from a song that I really like. I think it's called Carnival by... can't remember the song now, but I'll put that on the screen, I'm sure. Here I did catfish, and then wrote catfish, you know. Very, very inventive, clearly, you know. These are both from reference, but here I just sort of try to stylize it a bit more and use my brush pen as well as the little fine liner pen in combination. So I really liked... Actually, I like this spread. It's actually quite a good clean page. Then I did a bunch of studies of sloths. Sloths are pretty much the most adorable animal ever, and I stand by that. They are so freaking cute. And so I'm actually working on an animation about sloths for my internship. So just did a bunch of studies of them and their little smiling faces, and and did some research on the actual animal as well, and apparently they move 3 times faster in water than on land, which is crazy to me, but also freaking hilarious. They're apparently real good swimmers, so there you go. Back to the usual pencil and then sort of solid block of colour, and then more fashion drawings where I just looked up fashion on Pinterest and put some characters in it. And then this is sort of a, I don't really like this page, it's just a little bit too messy. And yeah, this one's really weird, I don't know. I drew this guy in this strange pose and I was like, well, what could he possibly be doing? So of course I gave him like a giant feather. It makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Not at all. Alright, moving on. This sort of weird Jesus looking guy. And this very happy, stylized girl. Brush pens are really fun for drawing hair, so I just went ahead and did that. There's not really any motive behind these. They're also not very like anatomically correct, but like a lot more stylized than my usual stuff. And then another weird Copic marker drawing. And then I did this full page Harry Potter in the Hogwarts Express drawing, which was really fun. I used Copic markers and a brush pen and then some white acrylic paint because my gel pen ran out. But what happens is that the Copic markers bleed through, but then the actual line art doesn't. So I've got this weird footprint of what the drawing used to be, and then I just decided to take advantage of that and draw a derpy face on Harry on the opposite side of that one. And then here we have some gravity defying boobs, which is pretty much what any good sketchbook needs. I'm telling you guys this now, if you don't have gravity defying boobs in your sketchbook, you're doing art wrong. That's my personal opinion on that, and in fact that is just law. Alright, here are more art school notes and stuff, but I decided to draw some succulents because that's popular at the moment. Everyone's really into the succulents, so good on you. And after this, I really wanted to, like, previously sort of talked about getting more expressive with my drawing, and I just decided to go all the way with that and go kind of crazy. So got more bus tickets that I put on here, and then some really weird expressive drawings with the brush pen, and then again more of that just sort of not thinking and just drawing is really hard for me, so I decided to get better at it, or try to get better at it. And then this is a drawing that I call getting out of the shower during winter time. I'm sure people can relate to this. And then sort of back to my regular style, I did this girl getting stuck in her t-shirt with some clothes flying around. And this is the last page, is a girl done in brush pens again, and you can see how fun the hair is with stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Cool, so that was my sketchbook from January to July of 2016. And I've got a new sketchbook for the next few months. This one, which is, you might be able to tell, the same brand as my last sketchbook, so it's also a Magma. But what I didn't realize when I bought it, so basically this one's a Magma like art sketchbook, so it just has white pages. But this one also has, for every third page, it has graphics paper, which at first I was like, oh well shit, what am I supposed to do with that? But it is quite nice, because then I can draw on the other page with Copic markers and stuff and not worry about ruining this page, because I know that I probably won't use it for anything anyway. And then for the pages that I don't do that, I could use this to do like some collage work and not feel like I'm wasting any pages either, because I actually quite like working with collage as well. And then the fun thing with these Magma sketchbooks is that they have like a bunch of information in the back about printing and books and art and all that kind of thing. So at the back of this one, it's a bit more about design and stuff, and in the back of this green one it was more about art, so it was talking about the golden ratio and anatomy and that kind of thing, and yeah, paper sizes, which is super useful. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got some exciting news for you all. For the next video I might do like an announcement or like an update video, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But in the meantime, so long, and I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day. Thank you for watching. Bye!